All right, so we got a long jumper here. Let's take a look. Pretty aggressive and fast coming in. As you know, I don't love the just record only at the takeoff. I like to see the whole approach because, as we know, in any jump, any jumping event, pole vault, long jump, high jump, triple jump, your approach makes up more than 90% of the whole event. So if you don't get that right, you cannot expect, if you don't pass the 90%, you can't expect to pass the whole event if even if your takeoff is awesome. So let's take a look here. It looks like coming into the jump, her range of motion is pretty good. That step is a little too crunchy for me. I think this is her third to last step, so I would want to see that her posture is nice and tall and she's pushing up completely off that step. I can see her foot behind her, so it looks like a complete release. I think just she was starting to prepare too early. You can see the bend in her knee there. Okay, so this is her penultimate step. Penultimate step needs to land flat underneath. Hers is landing toe down. Ooh, and the takeoff is really toey, reaching for the board like crazy. So some things here. I think this is a new to long jump athlete, but what I would do first is the penultimate's got to land flat underneath. You also need to lower a little bit on the penultimate. So the way we do that in practice is we work on letting the shin and knee fall past the toe. With a rigid ankle, you should rock onto the ball of your foot. In practice at slower speeds, you should see the shin almost get parallel with the ground on the penultimate step. And we should travel in a downward and forward direction only. This athlete is kind of pushing up, still bouncy all the way through. We need to travel down and then flat. The athlete conceptually should try to achieve their lowest point on the board. So they should try to travel down and forward. That's what it should feel like to them. Her takeoff leg is also coming through really high like a sprint step. I want to see when the athlete is knee to knee, when her takeoff foot is recovering to the front and her penultimate foot is on the ground, that foot, the takeoff foot, is below the level of the knee, but you can see it's high. It's stepping over really high, and I would want to see it swing through low as opposed to step over high. So you can usually tell when an athlete doesn't lower on their penultimate well when it looks like the jump, they just kind of run as fast as they can and lift their feet, but their hips don't rise up at all. So if I just play it, the hips hardly rise after takeoff. So this is an athlete who is truly just running and lifting their legs off the ground and going flying. There's no preparation or penultimate into a more vertical takeoff. So these are easy things to fix. And like I said, I think this is a new to long jump athlete. So I would work on the flat-footed contacts on both feet first, and then work on lowering on the penultimate, assuming that the approach is in check.